Hong Kong is one of those places where if you meet this city halfway, it will reward you handsomely in terms of both financial success, but also it's because it's such a small place. You get to meet incredibly interesting people very quickly.
You came in 1998.
Yep.
Is it? How was Hong Kong back then? It was still like this golden era of Hong Kong, as people say.
Well, obviously, 96, 97, obviously you had the build up to handover. So everybody was kind of nervous, like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And, 97, 98, you still had the vestiges of empire, if you like. No one had really kind of got used to what was going to happen. The golden era. So I never define Hong Kong as having a golden era because I think Hong Kong adapts and survives through every phase that we are going through. I have this conversation a lot at the moment about Hong Kong, particularly with my European friends when I'm in London. They're all like, are you safe in Hong Kong? And I'm like, well, I'm safer in Hong Kong than I am in London, okay? Yeah. In London, if I go out, I take my watches off, okay? In Hong Kong, people look at my watches and say, is that all you can afford, okay? So it's a complete and utterly different world. Yeah. But it is, Hong Kong adapts and survives, and it's adapting and surviving right now. We haven't closed our doors, the lights have not been turned off, people are still building businesses here, we are still here. We are experiencing a change in Hong Kong. So our borders are becoming more porous. We've just built a bridge to Macau. We can drive to Macau now, and I think it's fun. Half of Hong Kong disappears to Shenzhen every weekend, and the F&B industry here are sulking. They're kind of saying, well, what about us? You're meant to be eating here. Hong Kong has never been scared of competition, and this is just another change that Hong Kong is going through right now. And porous borders work both ways. Right now, Hong Kongers are going to Shenzhen, but eventually we'll start seeing more mainlanders coming into Hong Kong from Shenzhen, from Zhuhai, from Macau, from the whole Greater Bay Area. 80 million people. So 80 million people has got to be good for business because these are people of a demographic who have a disposable income, and they'll come here, and they might not be coming to buy, Aston Martins from the Aston Martin dealer or high-end art from us, but they will be coming to spend their money in the shops of Hong Kong, which feeds our economy. So the golden era of Hong Kong is always here. We just have to make sure that we are swift enough to seize the moment and to seize the opportunity. And Hong Kong has always done that. We are a trading port. We have always, when the boats come in, we change the product that we're selling depending on what they've got or what the people want to buy. And that's exactly what we're seeing now in Hong Kong. Yeah. And yes, there is change, without doubt there is change. But the naysayers about Hong Kong, and I hear a lot of it, as I said, are completely wrong. And I think you talk to any expat Hong Konger who's been here for 20, 30, 40 years, I don't think any of them will say, I don't see a future for Hong Kong. And I remain very bullish on Hong Kong.
You said that Hong Kong is probably agile and like all the changes will be okay. But there was like few waves when people move out, like especially international people, like expats move out from Hong Kong. The last one, I guess, was after 2019, then after COVID.
Yeah.
But I actually talked to like a couple of people like recently. They say that now there is the wave back.
Yeah, I think, the movement of expats is not new. So expats often come for a 2 or 3 year period. Yeah. And then, you'll always hear the story, I came for 2 years and I stayed for 20. Okay, fine. That could apply to me, I suppose. But Hong Kong has always been a transient place, as is Singapore. People come, their company sends them, they like it because they get a very nice life for a few years and they get their nice apartment, they get their club membership, they get a live-in maid or whatever. But eventually the call of going home can be very strong. So I see nothing new with an exodus of expats because it's always cyclical. And you're exactly right. 2019, there was a lot of people who were fed up with being trapped in Hong Kong because of our COVID regulations. So they were like, I want to leave, I'm going home, which is fair enough. But Hong Kong is home to many more people who were born here and stay here than those who visit here. And I think this is what people tend to forget, that Hong Kong isn't just an expat destination. It is home to an indigenous population who are studying and working. And for these people, Hong Kong gives them the strength to go away, but it will give them the courage to come home again. And I think this is where Hong Kong will have a good future. And you're quite right. We are also seeing a return of asset managers. Everyone has to talk about finance in Hong Kong. Of asset managers who left. Singapore
To
was
Singapore?
to Singapore,
Many of them, yeah.
mostly, yes.
Yeah.
And some of those are drifting back as well. Some people will go to Singapore and say, oh my God, this is the best place I've ever lived. So they'll say, nothing wrong with that. Hong Kong has never said you can't leave, and we've never said you have to come. So we will make it easy for you to come. We will make it easy for you to set up a business. I still believe this is the only place in the world you can wake up on Saturday morning, have a business idea, talk to your friends about it over dinner on Saturday, formulate a business plan on Sunday, open your business on Monday and be trading on Tuesday. Or Monday afternoon if you're really keen, okay?
Yeah.
And I think Hong Kong respects that and does as much as it possibly can to encourage this entrepreneurial spirit. You know, for our gallery, so we were born in Hong Kong, but we have spread our wings around the world. You know, whilst we're opening a huge gallery in London, which is a major commitment to us. You know, London is not a cheap market to open, and it's a market that is filled with red tape. That we opened in 2018, so most of that red tape.
Red tape is what?
Red tape is the rules and regulations of government and all of this kind of stuff. You know, here in Hong Kong, you know, it hardly exists. You know, you can literally start a business in a day and be operational within 2 days. And of course, there are other places in the world that you can do that, but it's part of Hong Kong's DNA. From going back to the days when we were just opium dens, you know, controlled by families of empire, to today, where we are fighting a fighting spirit for art, for all types of businesses. You know, and I think one of my great stories that I love telling people about entrepreneurial Hong Kong is the tram line that you see in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Obviously, there used to be a few more tram lines. So at one point, the gauges, the width used to be different in certain places. So then they rationalized it by putting in a new track that was one width.
Yeah.
And the coolies with their trolleys, within 24 hours, had realigned the width of all of their trolleys so that they could use the tram lines for free. And part of the reason I think for doing it originally was to stop the coolies from using it. And I always think that's the Hong Kong spirit. We would always find a way around to make the situation better. And that's exactly what we're going through now. And that's what's attracting people back as well. They're seeing the reality of Hong Kong versus the Western media bias towards Hong Kong. And again, I come back to my friends who, you know, I had a dinner in London quite recently, and when the couple had decided that they weren't going to win the argument that Hong Kong was a dangerous place, they just switched the conversation to Taiwan. And I thought, okay, fine, just carry on, okay? So proof is in the pudding. The proof of the pudding of Hong Kong is that we're still here, we're still charging ahead, and we are still going to come up with answers for all of the problems that present to us today. And these are normal urban situation problems. Yes, we have problems with housing. Yes, we have a disparity between rich and poor. They are not uniquely Hong Kong problems. They are global problems in any urban environment. And, you know, we are working, the government here is working quite hard to solve subdivided housing. And from our point of view, from the art world, we are continuing to tell the story of Chinese culture to the world, which I think is also a very important story.
Yeah.
Right.
What are the other misconceptions that people in the West have about Hong Kong, apart of being not safe?
I think it's you know, that we are oppressed, that we are, you know, a nation living under the shadow of a dictatorial government.
Yeah.
I mean, you come from Singapore.
Same misconceptions. Yeah.
You know, the reality is that yes, we are a city within a sovereign nation, but I don't wake up every day thinking about the party. I don't wake up every day.
How come?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know that's wrong of me. Sorry. You know, freedom of speech. I have freedom of speech here. I continue to opine via the South China Morning Post through my letters to the editor, which I've been doing for 25 years, I think now. And I will continue to be critical where I think criticism needs to be made. And I've never felt oppressed or challenged in any way. And you know, people will say to me, well, Mark, that's because you're a white guy and you're kind of, you know, privileged. It's like, well, no, I don't think that's the case at all. Everyone has to be aware of their red lines. In Singapore, people are aware of what they can and cannot say. Yeah. In the United Kingdom, people are aware of what they can and cannot say. And freedom of speech, as Eleanor Roosevelt said, is not your right to say what you want when you want without responsibility for what you say. And I can completely believe in that. So, people want to believe that Hong Kong isn't doing as well as the golden days, because maybe they were here during the golden days, and they want to think we had the best of it.
Yes.
For me, the best of Hong Kong is yet to come, because the future, the younger generations who call this city home, are not going to let it fail. And I think that's the most important thing.